Welcome to WorksheetCloud Grade 9 English. So happy to be teaching you guys today and delivering another language lesson. However, this one is going to be a lot of activities, so you won't have to be listening to rules as such all the time. You'll also be getting to do some fun activities. If, however, there is a point where you are not sure of anything, you are maybe needing a couple bit more pieces of information, please do feel free to email grade9@worksheetcloud.com. You'll see the email address on your screen. And as I said, anything that you need to know, you'll be able to pick up from there. Okay, so let's get straight into it. Before we get to exactly what we're going to be working with today, I wanted to share with you an example, very sort of simple or simplified example of a timetable. Now, if you're anything like me, which is very strange because I love planning, I literally will follow or will have a timetable like this where almost every second of the day I'll know what I'm doing. But at the same time, I am the biggest procrastinator you can find. I put the pro in procrastinates because it's something that I really need to work on. So I always just think to myself, imagine how much further behind I'd be if I didn't have some type of structure. And I think that's such an important lesson to learn early on in life. When I was in high school, way back when, I was not very good at time management. I used to leave everything to the last minute. I was better in university, and I have really honed that skill because I know how important it is. And even though, like I said, I can procrastinate, I have become a lot better with prioritizing what I need to do. And I just want to get that across to you guys now. I know it is so annoying sometimes when parents and teachers tell you, have a study timetable, make a timetable of all your activities. But I actually can't tell you enough how grateful you're going to be if you can start getting that skill sorted now. Because one day in the big wide world of work, time management is everything. So this is a very cute one. Maybe try and come up with your own. Girls I know love to go highlighter crazy and make it all pretty. But either way, as long as you just have some type of structure written down somewhere, put it up on your wall, keeps you accountable, it really, really is going to help you in the long run. Okay, so let's get now to what we're actually doing today, which is not just a motivational talk about procrastination. Today we are going to be looking at the world of words. So like I said, I'm not going to do anything 100% specific, like nouns or adjectives, even though they'll come up in this lesson. But I just want to do a fun activity where we look at all the different uses of words and we just have some fun playing around with what you can do with words. Okay, so let's get started. Words, without them, we are nothing. With them, we are powerful. Words are so important. You cannot communicate effectively without. Obviously, yes, I know you can communicate in physical interaction, a hug, you can show love. But just remember, the way that you verbally communicate is often how people perceive you. So it's an important thing to know that you need to make sure you bring yourself across using the right words in the right context. Now, the alphabet's where it all starts. I still sometimes have to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, just to remember what comes next. But that alphabet's ingrained within all of us from a very young age. And the alphabet is literally what it says. It creates everything. So you all know that vowels, A, E, I, O, U, and you all know there are consonants, everything but A, E, I, O, U. And just something again to show you how it links. Vowels are used if we're going to use assonance, which is the repetition of vowel sounds, and consonants we use for alliteration, which also the repetition of sounds, but using a consonant. So for instance, if I'm looking here, clap your hands. Clap your hands. A in clap and A in hands makes assonance. If I had to say here, Belinda bought butter for baking, there the B sound is being repeated, alliteration. It's used a lot in poetry, so more the figurative understanding or looking at the effect that assonance and alliteration creates. But just so you know, vowels, consonants, the alphabet, you need it for everything. Right, then you also have sentence types. So once you start putting your words together, it makes a sentence. So you guys will know you have 4 sentence types: a question sentence, statement sentence, command sentence, and an exclamation sentence. Now, obviously it's easy to define these, or at least to identify. So you have here a question sentence will always end with a question mark. How was school today? A statement is when you are merely stating a fact. I went to school today. A command, imagine your mom shouting in the morning, go to school. And your exclamation, school was so much fun today. It brings around about a bit more of emotion than just a factual statement. Okay, now let's see. Here is a crossword for you to complete. I'll move myself just a little bit out the way there. What I'm going to ask you to do is to press pause. You can write it down, you can literally work it out in your head, it's not a problem. And then we will mark it together. A crossword is a really fun activity. So again, you need to know words. All right, press pause and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so here are your answers. Number 1 was a tiger. Number 2, a bunny. Number 3, a pig. Number 4, a parrot. 5 is a frog. 6 is a worm. And again, if you didn't know how to spell, then sometimes your crosswords won't quite make sense, because here you can see it's fine, they don't overlap. But when it starts overlapping, you need to know how to spell so that this word overlaps correctly with that word. Okay, so crosswords, super fun. You'll find them in newspapers, magazines, you can even buy crossword books, and it's actually a great way to improve your vocabulary. Okay, as I just said now, you need to know how to spell. Spelling is obviously marked, so let's look at it academically within your writing work, your language work, but also just that when you get eventually to, let's say, university or the working world, your spelling and the way that you type up documents or documentation is going to be very important. So again, you may pause, have a look. The first one's been for you. So I'll show you the answers just now, and all the answers will be in an orange block. I want you to see if you can piece together which words have not been spelled correctly. Okay, press pause. Okay, so I hope you picked up on this. Caribbean has 2 B's. Niece. Do you guys know that whole thing about I before E except after C? Well, here you'll see it's before. Alright, so that should be spelled N-I-E. Weather, we're missing an H. Or if you're talking about climate, you're missing an A. Writing, we drop the E. Deceive, this is where that little rhyme comes into play. After C, you always have to have E-I. A lot is 2 words. Okay, a lot of people do not realize that. Potatoes, you're making the plural, so we're adding on an E. Okay, so spelling is another function or another facet to the world of words. Okay, now, have you ever heard of an Americanism? So, the Americans follow, or everyone living in America, and I'm talking now about their documentation and, anything, their signs, adverts, they follow a standard of English, whereas the rest of the world, we follow the British standard. So what that means is that some words in America actually are spelling errors when we write them. So we need to make sure we don't make Americanism mistakes. So here are 4 examples. Again, you can pause, think about the answers or write them down, and then we'll meet on the other side. Okay, so kids. Kids is much too informal, right? So we say children. So in your essays, please don't write about kids at school, children at school. Color and behavior, I'm going to group together number 2 and 4, because Americanisms take on an O, we write it with a U, so OU. Color, behavior, favor, loads of examples. Then Americans also use the Z or the Z, as it would be called there, whereas we would write with an S. So keep that in mind, because I think that's where people make the most common errors. So realize, advise, all right? So always think of it with SE. Recognize. Okay, let's play a little guess the word. So each of these have been scrambled around, and you've got a clue. So again, press pause, work out the little conundrums. Okay, so I contain photos that would have been moved around to form album. Smile, happy. I love summer holidays, going to the beach. I need to write notes, paper. To love, you need your heart. Orange, please, refers to juice. Okay, so again, just a little bit of unscrambling the words, a little bit of fun with the world of words. Right, I used to love these when I was younger. So yeah, you might need to pause for quite some time, that's fine. Again, just write down any of the animal names that you find. Pause, and then I'll put up the answers for you. Okay, so all the ones here in white, lion, crocodile, pig, fox, bird. Okay, so these are all examples. How many were you able to find? I hope most of them. And this again comes down to making sure you know how to spell and the building blocks of putting the words together. Okay, nouns and adjectives. Remember, a noun is a person, place, or thing, an object, whereas an adjective describes that person, place, or thing. So I want you to look at the 12 words that were given to you here and decide if you would slot it under an adjective box or heading or a noun box or heading. Press pause and then we'll look at the answers. Okay, so let's look at the nouns first. So remember, nouns are people, places, or objects. So mom and dad, people. A cat you can also put in there with an animate object, it is alive. To me is a person. School and village are places. And a bed is a object, something that you obviously use to sleep on. Now let's look at how the adjectives are used and can be used to describe. Oops, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Right, so our adjectives are thin, blonde, pretty, tall, bright. So my mom is tall. The bright orange cat, was running around the neighborhood again. So adjectives are words that describe, whereas nouns are words that refer to people, places, or things. Okay, then you also have verb tenses. So a word shows you in which tense you are speaking. We know that there's present tense, which means now. Past tense, it has happened. Future tense, it's still going to happen. Okay, so see if you can work out what the blanks would then be, looking at the one clue given per example. You may press pause. Okay, so the first one you were given was I draw, present. So I drew the picture. I will draw the picture. Okay, then you were given I spoke. So you were given the past. if you did speak, you spoke, it means that at one stage you were speaking. So like, I am speaking to you now, present tense. I will speak, so I'm going to talk a bit later, future tense. Right, then you were given I will eat. So present, I eat. And past, I ate, or even I have eaten. Right, so it just depends there, either or would be acceptable. Right, so one more look at some verbal tenses, how words can actually determine the tense of your sentence. Right, so press pause, and then we'll have a look at the answers. Okay, Timmy Jimmy did his homework yesterday. Right, so it was yesterday, so he did it. If we're looking at tomorrow, I will play basketball. Again, if we're looking at tomorrow, Vanessa and James will visit. The last two, last year, last May, both past, so celebrated and rained. Okay, then we also have synonyms. Now, synonyms are words of similar meaning. Antonyms would be the opposite meaning. So, Timmy Jimmy is well liked. What is a synonym? Popular. Rocky was very annoyed. Irritated. Lucy felt joyous, so she's happy. Casey enjoyed the wintry day, the cold day. Right, so synonyms are words which mean exactly the same. So words have other words which mean exactly the same thing. Okay, now you also have word families. This is word association. So you have three headings here: botany, which is the study or working with flowers or trees; travel; communicate. Take a second here again or more, pause it, and then look at where you would slot these words into. Okay, so I hope that you were able to pick up on these three sections: botany, floral, flower pot, florist, flowery; travel, transport, export, airplane, and boats; communicate, telephone, telepathic, telegram, those are old; Instagram, you should all know. Okay, I'm going to end off with a quiz. You're going to be given a word and 4 different options of the meaning of the word. And this is a difficult one. So see if you can learn some new words here for your vocab, and then the answers will come up after to show you or if you were not. Alright guys, so I wonder how many you got right for that quiz. I know some of the words were very different, very strange, but remember them for future. You can maybe spring them on your English teacher. Just remember, teachers don't know everything. We don't know every word in the English language, so it's good for you to also come and teach us a thing or two now and again. I hope that you have learned what words can do, how words are everywhere. And maybe you can now use words to go and make that timetable so that you can stick to your goals and make sure that you never have to worry about time management again. Thanks for watching Grade 9s. This lesson was brought to you by WorksheetCloud and me, Mrs. Nautia. I'm saying goodbye. I hope you have a lovely rest of day, and I will see you guys again very soon.